Hi, I'm David from IELTS Daily. Today we're looking at a next mock exam with Lucy. Let's have a look.
Hello and welcome to this practice exam conducted by IELTS Daily. My name is May and I'm your practice IELTS speaking examiner. The questions in this test are designed to simulate the IELTS speaking test. Let's start. What's your first name, please?
Lucy.
At the beginning of the IELTS test, you need to provide some identification. But as this is a practice test, there's no need for this today. Are you ready to begin?
Yes.
I want to begin by talking about you. Are you a positive person?
Yes, I think so. For example, if there's a rainy day, I will think, I can see the rainbow after.
Do you often encourage your friends and family?
Yes, I think I'm kind of person. For example, last week my roommate failed a test and I gave her a really good lunch and said that you can do better next time.
So this is an interesting function. In English, when we talk about something we said to someone, we say, and I told her, and I told him, and I let him know, something like this. And I said that you can have, we don't use it like that because we are reporting on what we said at the time. So going to lose a little bit here in terms of grammatical range.
I'd like to move on to the topic of science. Did you enjoy studying science at school?
Yes, I love physics, but I don't like chemistry at all.
So also here, we're talking about at school, so we're talking about the past. I love physics, but I don't love chemistry. So when we're talking about at school, it's the past, we really should say I loved, if we're talking about something at that time, or I used to love. Okay, we could probably leave it alone because if she still loves it, then actually the present is okay. But a more accurate answer would be just to reference the time that was asked. At school, then it's going to be the past for most of us.
Why?
Because I almost burned my fingers in one chemistry test. It's really not good experience for me.
It was really a not good experience. There are more high-level ways to explain it. If you want to use the positive, it was a horrible experience. If you want to use the negative, it wasn't a very good experience, rather than it was a not, as you heard.
Do you think science is an important subject?
Yes, absolutely, yes. It's where happens in everywhere in our lives, such as the materials, our food, our daily life, something else.
So, and something else is okay, but a more high level, materials, foods, and other things. So if we want to keep it talking about, I'm going to give you 2 or 3 things, and then other things, some people might say, etc. In a conversational speaking test, and other things would be a more suitable finish to that sentence.
How does science help you in everyday life?
Like I just said, the material we used, like the table, like the sofa bench, and the food we eat, it's all about the science.
Now, let's think about the topic of birthday parties and celebrations. Did you ever have a birthday party as a child?
Yes, I remember my 6th birthday. I invite 10 people in my house. It's really good memory.
So just here on my 6th birthday party, I invite 10 people. Past tense, I invited 10 people. And also in my house, to my house. I invited 10 people to my house. So you're going to be dropping there a little bit on the lexical resource and also the grammatical range.
Did you ever attend the birthday party of other children?
Yes, I think so, but it's before 6 and little birth memory for me.
Do you attend birthday parties or celebrations now?
Not recently because the COVID-19 lockdown. I haven't been to other party for 2 years.
What was the last birthday you attended?
I remember 3 years ago, my roommate's friend invited us to the birthday party. It's a yard and a swimming pool and lovely dogs.
So here, invited us to the birthday party. Us as the listener or the examiner don't know which birthday party, so it's improper to use the birthday party. Invited us to a birthday party. We use the indefinite article a or an.
It's a really good time.
In the next part of the test, I'm going to give you a topic and I would like you to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. You will have 1 minute to think about what you want to say, and I will give you a pencil and some paper to make notes if you want. Is that clear?
Yes, thank you.
Here is your paper and pencil.
Thank you.
You have 1 minute to prepare. Thank you. Now I would like you to talk about an app or piece of software you use. Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this, so don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up. Can you start speaking now, please?
Yes. I will describe an app I use daily is WeChat. This is a communication application in the mobile phone. It is also can be used on the laptop or the iPad. I think it's very useful because I can communicate with people in there, and there is a version of the company use, and we can check the friends' moments and even receive the emails in the application. For nowadays, in China era, we can use the delivery service or the hospital service in the WeChat too. It's very combination application. And about the question when I use it, I started to use the WeChat from 2011 when I was in university. Just to find out everyone beside me was using it, so I want to try it a little bit. And I found it's really good for students. And it's better than the normal text application because it can send pictures and send voicemails by just not the regular price. It's very cheap price.
So here, Lucy's moved to regular price, not a cheap price. Seems that describing with WeChat that it's free to use or it's a very low cost. So to describe it better than email, more natural language would be it's cheaper to use than email, or it's cheaper to send photos and videos than other methods, something like this. But just saying cheap price, for the free product, cheap price actually is incorrect. And so it doesn't actually accurately describe what she's trying to say.
And if you ask if I will continue using in the future, I think the answer will be yes, because not just the students and the employees will use it, even our parents.
Again here with the word the, not just the students. Which students? We don't know which ones yet. So generally speaking, you need to drop the when you're talking about things generally. So in this context, students and employees know the.
The elder person are using it too, because it can turn the voice message directly to the text. So it's very convenient for the older people. So I think the answer will be yes. I think the software will become better and better.
Thank you. I want to stay on the topic of computer applications and software.
Yep.
Do you think people are becoming too dependent on software and apps?
Yes, for the 21st century, it's the digital time. So we rely on computer, mobile phone, and other digital applications too much.
So here we really need those S's. Computers, mobile phones, because we're talking generally, and there are more than one. We can count sort of how many there are. And when we're describing computers as the concept or as ones that we see, we need the S there.
It's not friendly for the elder people, I think.
Why do you think so?
Because they're learning new things in a very low pace, I think. Not.
So just here, Lucy's getting a little bit stuck. A low pace or a low place, that it takes them longer to learn. You'll hear in the next section comparing with younger people. So more natural language would be that they learn at a slower pace, using the comparative adjective slower.
As fast as the younger generation. So I don't think it's a very good thing for the elder people.
Should parents limit a child's ability to download apps and software?
I think so, because it's a future ability. If you want to join the modern city, you must learn how to use them.
Again here, join the modern city. Which one? We don't know, so we use the indefinite article a. Join a modern city.
Do you think artificial intelligence will become more popular in the future?
Yes, I think so, but not in the recent future, because our internet and
Just here, when we use future, we don't say recent, we use near. Recent will generally be about the past, recently. But if we're talking about the future, the near future, in the near future.
hardware, it still need time to develop. So I think maybe 10 years later, the real artificial intelligence will become and go into the normal daily use.
Thank you. That is the end of the practice speaking test.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, nice work by Lucy. In terms of fluency and coherence, we're looking at about a 6. That she's able to speak at length and very confidently, but loses a bit of coherence at times, some repetition, same words. The hesitation is not such a problem, but just the discourse markers where she's choosing words that don't really sort of blend and convey the idea clearly. The examiner is going to be a bit sort of stuck trying to catch what the meaning was and to go over in their mind what was said. So we're looking at a 6 there. In terms of lexical resource, a good range of vocabulary, typically used very accurately, not much idiomatic language or expressions, and it's wide enough vocabulary to convey the message. In terms of grammatical range and accuracy, this is where it gets a little bit lower and scores a 5, that the basic sentence forms were fairly accurate. When she goes into more complex structures, either there was something missing in the pronunciation or the word choice, or the nouns and the verbs and the adjectives just weren't working in agreement, whether it was across tense or in word choice. In terms of pronunciation, a 6, mostly understood, good control of different sounds, the diphthongs, also intonation was clear enough to understand. Where she was slipping was then past tense, especially that last sound, and some words were completely unintelligible, where I couldn't quite catch what was being said, and so some of the meaning was lost. Again, that affects then fluency and coherence. So a 6 in pronunciation. Well done to Lucy, and if you liked this video, please like and subscribe, and leave a comment below. Bye for now.
Hello and welcome to this practice exam conducted by IELTS Daily. My name is May and I'm your practice IELTS speaking examiner. The questions in this test are designed to simulate the IELTS speaking test. Let's start. What's your first name, please?
Lucy.
At the beginning of the IELTS test, you need to provide some identification. But as this is a practice test, there's no need for this today. Are you ready to begin?
Yes.
I want to begin by talking about you. Are you a positive person?
Yes, I think so. For example, if there's a rainy day, I will think, oh, I can see the rainbow after.
Do you often encourage your friends and family?
Yes, I think I'm kind of person. For example, last week my roommate failed a test and I gave her a really good lunch and said that you can do better next time.
I'd like to move on to the topic of science. Did you enjoy studying science at school?
Yes, I love physics, but I don't like chemistry at all.
Why?
Because I almost burned my fingers in one chemistry test. It's really not good experience for me.
Do you think science is an important subject?
Yes, absolutely, yes. It's where happens in everywhere in our lives, such as the materials, our food, our daily life, something else.
How does science help you in everyday life?
Like I just said, the material we used, like the table, like the sofa bench, and the food we eat, it's all about the science.
Now, let's think about the topic of birthday parties and celebrations. Did you ever have a birthday party as a child?
Yes, I remember my 6th birthday. I invited 10 people in my house. It's really a good memory.
Did you ever attend the birthday party of other children?
Yes, I think so, but it's a before 6 and little birth memory for me.
Do you attend birthday parties or celebrations now?
Not recently because the COVID-19 lockdown. I haven't been to other party for 2 years.
What was the last birthday you attended?
I remember 3 years ago, my roommate's friend invited us to the birthday party. It's a yard and a swimming pool and lovely dogs. It's a really good time.
In the next part of the test, I'm going to give you a topic and I would like you to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. You will have 1 minute to think about what you want to say and I will give you a pencil and some paper to make notes if you want. Is that clear?
Yes, thank you.
Here is your paper and pencil.
Thank you.
You have 1 minute to prepare. Thank you. Now I would like you to talk about an app or piece of software you use. Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this, so don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up. Can you start speaking now, please?
Yes. I will describe an app I use daily is WeChat. This is a communication application in the mobile phone. It is also can be used on the laptop or the iPad. I think it's very useful because I can communicate with people in there and there is a version of the company use. And we can check the friends' moments and even receive the emails in the application. For nowadays, in China area, we can use the delivery service or the hospital service in the WeChat too. It's very combination application. And about the question when I use it, I started to use the WeChat from 2011 when I was in university. Just to find out everyone beside me was using it, so I want to try it a little bit. And I found it's really good for students. And it's better than the normal text application because it can send pictures and send voicemails by just not a regular price. It's very cheap price. And if you ask if I will continue using in the future, I think the answer will be yes, because not just the students and the employees will use it. Even our parents, the elder person, are using it too, because it can turn the voice message directly to the text. So it's very convenient for the older people. So I think the answer will be yes. I think the software will become better and better.
Thank you. I want to stay on the topic of computer applications and software.
Yep.
Do you think people are becoming too dependent on software and apps?
Yes, for the 21st century, it's the digital time. So we rely on the computer, mobile phone, and other digital applications too much. It's not friendly for the elder people, I think.
Why do you think so?
Because they are learning new things in a very low pace, I think, not as fast as the younger generation. So I don't think it's a very good thing for the elder people.
Should parents limit a child's ability to download apps and software?
I think so, because it's a future ability. If you want to join the modern city, you must learn how to use them.
Do you think artificial intelligence will become more popular in the future?
Yes, I think so, but not in the recent future, because our internet and the hardware still need time to develop. So I think maybe 10 years later, the real artificial intelligence will become and go into the normal daily use.
Thank you. That is the end of the practice speaking test.
Thank you.